HTB youth, we are so excited. I am back in Tom Clark's garden. It's been 10 weeks since we've done this live from the Clark house, and Tom has gone to the extent of taping, measuring to make sure that our mouths are 2 meters apart. So
You've got a tape measure.
If someone does have a cough, it can't travel. It's fine.
We're live. It's literally half 4 my watch, and it can't catch nothing over there.
I caught nothing.
Look at that,
It's
nothing.
great. Got nothing. Guys, I'm so excited. I don't even know what to do. We've literally been buzzing all day. How's everyone doing? Has everyone had... McDonald's has opened up. You've had a Mackie D's?
I had a Mackie D's. Tell us if you had Mackie D's already. I've had a Mackie D's. Went through the drive-through. Oh. Just me and Lily. Got a Happy Meal. Great Happy Meal.
Love a Happy Meal. I got a Nando's. Nando's was fantastic. I got a wrap. I've never had a wrap before from Nando's. It was delightful. It was
Did you get in cheese? Do you cheese?
No, I got a char grilled chicken wrap, and I thought, you know what, that's gonna be really plain, but it wasn't, because it had ranch in it.
Well, that's delicious.
Ranch, as my American friends would say. It's been a treat.
It's been a big week as well for those. Thank you so much for all you've done to engage with all the stuff we put out about Black Lives Matter, and for the conversation we had with Joelle. Thank you, and it means a lot to us. And I was one of the protests on one of the marches on Wednesday right around Hyde Park, and we just want to say, look, it's always been important to us that Black lives obviously have always mattered to us, but particularly in the last couple of weeks. And we, as you know, for HTB Youth, we create spaces where young people thrive. And it says T is for treasure God, H is have fun, R is realize identity, I is influence society, V is value all, and E is emulate Christ. And value all, that's always been important to us. And but particularly the last couple of weeks, we've tried really hard to open up the conversation. But what I wanted to say is, forgive us if there's some days where we don't follow the trend of like whatever everyone's posting on Instagram, because we're trying to do it well. But what we really want to do is start some actions and make sure we're doing stuff really, really well behind the scenes as well. And so forgive us if one day we don't post the right thing or the right hashtag, but thank you to all of those who engaged with us and chatted to us. In fact, it's one of you guys or a couple of you guys who DM'd us and said thank you. So really appreciate you guys and all that you've done to get involved in that. Jess, anything you want to say?
No, I think Tom's hit the nail on the head then. Like, we want to make this sustainable. We don't just want it to be, we're going to focus on this for a week and then move on. But actually, this is something, as Tom said, we've always cared about. We always want all of you to feel valued. And so we want to do this sustainably and we want to do this well. So, yeah. Also, I've just been reading the comments. I'm really glad that all of you have had Mackie D's. And Ross, Nando's wrap is not a terrible idea. Thank you very much. But we're going to head over to worship now. Sarah Chan, all the way from Hong Kong, has filmed something for us. Incredible. So why don't you stand up, sit down, get into a position where you feel like you can worship, and let's enjoy what Sarah has to say.
You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. Now I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Now I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. Now I'm no longer a slave to child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and see. I am a child of God. Now I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Now I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Yes, I am a child of God. Yes, I am a child of God.
All right, so we are live. Like look, I can't show my watch because it won't work, will it? You won't be able to see it. But
This is how you know it's live.
6:41 on my watch, live. No, that's how it focuses, isn't it? But you get the point. We're really live. It's raining.
We are so live that we needed to respect Boris and not do this last week and do it in the rain. It's we've got water out here, but it's basically just rainwater. Nightmare. Also, shout out to Ailish. We missed you at Alpha on Wednesday, so hopefully see you next week. And also, if my mum's watching, I'm sorry I haven't got a coat on, but I just thought I wanted to look cool.
Felicity, we did talk about it before, and she's made a tough decision.
I thought it wouldn't go with my vibe. Do you know what I mean? If I've got the
Wigan.
sniffles next
Hi,
week.
Granny Wigan, if you're watching.
Wigs. Oh, I love it.
What else was I going to say? I feel overwhelmed by.
Rich, I did actually live reply to an actual live comment. Genuine.
We thought we'd give it a go. Why not? Who knows what'll happen next? Maybe we'll be allowed back into the hut. Who misses the hut? I miss the hut so much.
I miss the hut and the air hockey table and the pool table. Nightmare.
All right. Next, we've got an interview with Guvna B. We've stolen the interview from HTB at Home. If you're not watching HTB at Home each week, do watch it. It's great with Nikki Gumbel and the team at HTB. And this week they interviewed Guvna B. And so we're going to play that interview to you now. And check out the screen, enjoy it. Guvna B, Wild Legend. There's a great moment. In fact, there's a few pretty special moments, but there's one particularly, I think, when I won't spoil it, but watch towards the end and enjoy.
So I'm here with Isaac, often known as Guvna B, a great rapper. And just before we start our conversation, we've had a great friendship for a long time, and been so loved all your rapping. And now as you know, my son-in-law Miles is a would-be rapper. He's a plumber and an aspiring rapper, and he's a great fan of yours. And he was telling me that you have managed to get hold of some. And I said, "Tell me who it is." He was so impressed. He said, "Look, Isaac has got this guy, and he's better than Stormzy." So who is it that you're working with?
Is such a legend. So I've recently done a song with a rapper called Wretch32 that was playlisted on Radio 1 Extra. So Miles has been listening while at work and stuff when the song comes on, and he'll send me one again.
He's very impressed anyway. And you did just say what you did on Radio 4, because that was amazing. How long? That was like 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, so we did an hour-long documentary on the relationship between faith and hip-hop music, and how more mainstream artists are feeling more comfortable to talk about their faith. And we're in an interesting time. So yeah, that was amazing. I got to go to America and talk to a few rappers out there that are doing some great stuff. So yeah, it's been cool lately, apart from the obvious challenges.
So, first of all, thank you so much for leading worship today. It's so good to have, as you know, we would like to have you every week at HTB, but at least we've got you this week. But what I wanted, what's happened in America, is we're all deeply shock. George Floyd, that is the most horrific murder that's like on our screens. And I think the whole world is in shock, but also it's tapped into something that is, it's the tip of an iceberg. And underneath there's this huge amount of injustice, not just in the US, but also in the UK. And, tell us, what are you feeling about this? And what are you thinking?
So many things, Nikki. Obviously, absolute tragedy and horrible to see. For me, it's not shocking because I know that stuff like this happens. But I think because of phones and social media, the fact that the whole world has access to it, it's really ignited the experiences that other Black people have gone through. For me, it's not just an issue that is American, it's worldwide. And it's made me feel a variety of things. I think that Black people aren't monolithic. They're not just a barcode. And so even within my race, there are people with different experiences, and it's been inspiring hearing those. But what that means is that relationships need to be built, and we need to learn to see the one and give every single person time and be patient and empathetic. One thing that I've really been challenged by is the role that the church can play in that. I often hear we want the world to reflect the church, and the church wants to be the leader in these kind of areas. But I've just been wondering whether the church is entirely ready for that, because if the church isn't clear in its position on things like race, then we're not ready for the world to reflect the church. I've seen huge companies like Nike and Adidas be clear in their position and their standpoint. And so I think what's happening right now is a great opportunity for the church to stand and say, look, this is what we believe. We are anti-racist. We believe Black Lives Matter, and we want to do something about it.
Yeah. And then what should we do? What is the right response at this time?
It's such a massive issue that has, I guess, started about 400 years ago, Nikki, and that's what we're fighting against and battling against. So I think there's a variety of short-term, mid-term, long-term. But one thing I definitely say from my experience here in the UK is if the church is diverse in congregation, but isn't truly diverse in positions of leadership, in race and ethnicities and gender and classes, then that has to be looked at. I mean, we've got to understand that racism isn't just someone using the N-word, but you can perpetuate it by looking after your own, by only hiring or working with people who are within your class or your race, by not looking for opportunities to truly commit, invest, develop, and care for people who aren't like you. So I think that's a great start, to look around and say, how can we make sure that the different people that attend our services and the different people in our world are represented, not just in the seats in the church, but right at the top in leadership. I was reading the other day that 7% of the UK population attended private school, yet that 7% accounts for 74% of judges, 32% of MPs, 44% of newspaper columnists. And that's a huge disproportion. And that's not anything against anyone that went to private school, but it's saying that, are we looking for opportunities to involve people who aren't like us and who have different experiences? So representation is important. And yeah, I just think if everyone in decision-making senior positions is male and white, then it means that my experience isn't being completely understood or taken into consideration at that level. So I think that's a long-term plan for the church. But short-term, I think it's looking at in what ways can we tackle this issue on our own doorstep. Recently, there was a report that came out earlier in the week that Black people are 2 to 3 times more likely to be affected from COVID-19 because of a variety of problems, health problems, frontline occupations, living conditions. I mean, are we asking ourselves how we're helping those people and how we're offering our support? And I guess talking, Nikki.
Yeah.
I do have great empathy for white people in the sense that I don't think that they need to get things right all the time. I don't think that they need to be completely clued up on what it means to be Black, but I think they need to be willing to listen. And I think if we talk to each other, we should take the pressure off of having to have all the answers. I'd be completely fine if someone said, look, can you tell me more about your experience because I have no clue? I'm fine with that kind of conversation. But if we kind of ignore that and pretend like we do have a clue and carry on doing things the way we are, then I think it's going to be a disappointing path that we walk down.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I totally agree with you. You know, we got to change the leadership structure. I mean, you know, I've held my hands up. We are not, our leadership is not representative, and that's why we started the Peter Stream. That's why we're trying to change that, and it is a long-term goal, and it doesn't happen overnight. But it's the most important, because if you don't change that, then the short term, I agree. But you said long term, short term, and medium term. So tell us about the medium term.
Tell us about the medium term. Well, for me, a question that I've been asking a lot of my friends is, do you feel like you can completely be yourself at your church? Because I think the UK church has come a long way in terms of diversity. But if the large majority of ethnic minorities don't think that they can fully be themselves, then that tells me that the church is...
What do you mean by that? Just say what you mean by that, not being yourself. Because, I mean, who would not want you to be yourself?
So for me, this is a very vulnerable moment for me. But I thought, I've got this call with Nicky Gumbel, and it's going to be shown at HTB. My hair is currently like this.
I love that.
Which is pretty messy, but then I thought, and sometimes this is just me overthinking.
Did you not think that I would like that?
And then sometimes this is a pressure that I put on myself. But I believe that if I'm walking into an environment that has people that aren't like me, I need to present the best version of myself, or what they would deem as respectable or proper. And for me to just, it's a small example, but for me to just let my hair out and be free. And I guess that's what I mean by building relationship and talking to each other, because my perception is informed by comments or the way that people have made me feel in the past. So people have made reference to my hair in certain scenarios, and so I thought that...
In a negative way? In
a negative way. So with underlying comments like, this is not proper, that's a bit weird, so what do you call this hairstyle, and that kind of stuff. And some of it might be intrigue, but a lot of the times I feel it sends a message that you don't belong with us. And so my point was, if we talk to each other, we can break a lot of these barriers down. But if not, and people feel like they can't fully be themselves, then our churches aren't really multicultural, they're just multiracial, you know? Yeah. You can come as long as you fit into the way we do things.
Yeah. But I mean, that to me is what I love about diversity. The beauty of diversity is the difference.
I think it takes two things, right? I think it takes people like me being brave and proud of who they are and not censoring themselves and feeling like, you know what, this is how God has made me. Yeah. This is how I express myself within my culture. And I think it's beautiful. I want to share that. And it takes people on the receiving end to also feel the same way, but understand that, you know what, we should celebrate differences and make that known. And if those conversations are had and that's made clear, I think we move in a great direction. A lot of people have been using, I've been listening to like a few sermons and stuff, and people have been using, you know, the passage from, I think it's Galatians 3, where it's like, there's neither Jew nor Gentiles, we're all one in Christ. Yeah. And I think that verse is great, but it only works if we see the world the way God sees it. Yeah. If we don't see it that way and we have subconscious bias, but we quote that verse, it results in people being colorblind. And if you say that you don't see color, it means that you don't see me. It means you discount my struggle and my experiences. So I think that Galatians 3 verse is one that we must all aim for, but it only works if we truly appreciate each other's experiences and differences and realize that we're all one in Christ.
Brilliant. So good. Thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you we really appreciate you so much. And please be yourself.
Thank you. I will. Next time I come to HTB, I'll wear my hair up.
Please. We love you exactly as you are.
Nicky, do you know what? I just had a great thought. Can you imagine if you had dreadlocks? That'd be a pretty brilliant sight, wouldn't it?
I wish I could. I will show you. I'll put up a picture on the screen of my hair.
All right, cool.
When I was your age.
I look forward to seeing it.
Thanks so much. I'm so thrilled that you've been with us today. And thank you so much for being willing to contribute to this conversation.
No problem. Absolute pleasure. And here's to the church moving forward in the right direction.
Somebody say you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. You're not crazy.
You never let
it's a
go.
battle we all must fight. Some fears we all must face.
Through the calm and through the storm, he is with us.
And we're in this together.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. I remember sitting on my sofa, tears running down my cheeks, thinking, is it really over? I couldn't really leave my house for a few weeks. I felt vulnerable and anxious and fearful of the future and my lack of understanding. But it's funny, cause even when I thought I was alone, I knew you were on the throne. I still spoke to you in whispers. Help me in this time of need, I really need your wisdom. And I'll listen, knowing that even when I felt like you were distant, it's like, oh, no, you never let go. Yeah, Lord. In every high and every low. Yeah. I guess you proved yourself time and time again, not like you had to. Little further along and still convinced that I can trust you. Cause wherever I go, you're with me. Wherever I go through, Lord, you see me. In my wins, you were there. In my losses, you are prepared. So why should I be scared? Goodbye to all my fears. It's like I'm running clear, Lord, you're always there. And we praise you and we tell you that, yeah, oh, no, we never let go. Yeah, Lord, you never let go. In every high and every low. Woo. But that ain't easy to believe. In the silence and the grief. And I'm fighting for some peace. And I know joy comes in the morning. So Lord, I pray I'll make it through the evening. Yeah. Lord, I pray we make it through the evening. And I can see for the heart that holds on. And there will be. But until that day comes, still, we praise you, Lord. You never let go. I'm saying, oh, no, you never let go. You're with us, Lord, through it all. Lord, you never let go. We pray your covering over us, Lord. Guide us. Help us to know that we're never alone. You will never leave us. You will never forsake us. In the storms, in the darkest times, in the silence, we can trust you and we can have faith. We can approach your throne with confidence, because you never let go.
That was really powerful, and I think it was like really worth watching. I think for me, it's really easy to watch something like that, see a video and think that was really powerful, that's great, and then move on with my day. But actually, I think like the conversation's bigger than that. It's like, where do we go from that? How do I take that information and put it into practice? And so that's something you guys can be talking about in your Zoom groups, just like with one another on DMs. Like, let's not let that conversation die after you leave the live today. But actually, how do you take that on further? I think that's what I got from that for me.
Yeah, it's right. And we're a community. And I think what I've noticed over this time, particularly since we've been in lockdown, it's the risk is slightly different topic, but it's to go into comparison mode and look at what other people are posting and look at people's stories and compare yourself. Comparison only leads to competition. But I think the more we're like a community, the more we'll be like, we'll find our calling. And I think we need to find our calling and where God's commissioning us to be as a youth group. So let's stay as a community, and even we're online, but you can DM us, you can send us messages, and help us learn, keep us accountable, and let's do this in community together. Just seen a couple
There's
of
a
pigeons
lot
there.
of pigeons
Lot of
going
pigeons
past.
going
It's
on.
quite
That's
scary.
what happens when you're live, isn't it? Pigeons just go past. Anything else you want to say, Jess?
Only that I hope this is a regular thing.
I hope
this
so.
is so much fun. Very glad to be back in the Clark's house for live HTB Youth Live. Hopefully we'll be back in the hut as well, and hopefully we'll be back all together again
Come on.
soon.
I'm ready.
Please, Boris. But yeah, go into your Zoom groups after this. Don't forget to go into your Zooms. The Year 12 Zoom is great fun, and yes, I am live, and we'll be doing the HTB Youth Zoom. Year 12 Zoom from Tom's kitchen. Can't wait.
I realised I should have said big up to the PlayStation 4 team that won the FIFA Focus Alive Cup. Amazing times. Xbox guys got into the final. Remarkable scenes.
I
So
actually
well played.
cried.
Well played. Did you
I
actually?
cried
You
when
moved
you...
to tears?
Yeah, because I posted something on my Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, we've made it into the finals of Xbox and PS4. I got teary. I was so emotional, so proud of you all. So big up.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to jump into your Zoom groups now, and a little slide will come up afterwards that tells you when they're all happening. But there's a few happening straight after this, and I don't want to miss any of these comments going through. We've got a little camera. We've got a little TV underneath the camera that tells us what you all say, which is great. Thank you for all your comments. We're watching them as they all go through. Jess, over to you for a final word of encouragement and a prayer. Why not?
A final word of encouragement and a prayer. Put a coat on, even if you don't think it will go with your outfit. That's my encouragement for the day, because I'm actually shaking. Shall we pray together? Heavenly Father, I thank you for community. Father, I thank you that although we don't have all of the answers, we don't have all the words to say, we can always turn to you, and you can show us grace. And God, I pray that you give us the ears to listen to the stories that people have gone through and are going through. And God, I pray that you just really still our hearts and just let us know that we don't have to kind of rush to conclusions, we don't have to rush to give answers, but actually it's really powerful just to sit and to be with. And so God, I pray for a really blessed week for all of us. I pray that for all the young people that are maybe going back to school in person this week, go with them, God, go before them. Yeah. And Jesus, I pray that you help us to build an even tighter community here in HTB Youth. In Jesus' name, amen.